you guys to my room. I have a child doing a Zoom. They're finishing up. Hi, Elijah. Good to see you.
Hi. Almost forgot.
I'm going to pretend not to be hurt by that comment. You're done? Okay.
Yeah.
He wants to say hi, guys. Say hi. Say hi. All right, guys, let's do the thing. All right, so there he is. You got all stuck. Hi, Chester. Good to see you.
Hi, Billy. Hi, everyone.
All right, well, let's get started with what we normally start with, and then we'll get that out the way. Boom. Let me go ahead and share. How did you guys do with, well, besides Monica, because Monica's the only one that I actually saw with my own eyes taking a class. Did anybody else take a class this week? Jahi, okay, Alicia, with Wes?
No, that's last night with Jordan.
Oh, Jordan, okay. So I saw most of you that put up on your chart, you actually said you're gonna do Jordan. So it was either Jahi, Jordan, or Wes. And I think most of you went with Jordan, which is good. How was it, Monica? How was it, Ali? Yeah? That's good class?
It's good. I needed a stretch, so it was really good.
Good. All right, so let me go back here first. Let's do this. All right, here we go. All right, so we are at rest and recovery. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at week 5, guys. Okay. Boom. Jans, oh, where's Jans? Oh, she just said she was gonna miss. So she already filled hers out. She's so great. Look at her. All right, Gary, we're at day 30 check-in. How is that hydration coming along, Gary?
5.
5. Yay. Nutrition?
4.
4. Oh, it won't. Boom. Okay, there. 5. 4. What about mental health?
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay. Exercise?
It's still not good. I'd say 3.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. What about your rest and recovery, Gary?
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay. I love it. There's good numbers on here. Chester, hydration? I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you?
Chester is stunned.
Can
There.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, hydration is 4.
Uh-huh.
I can't see the spreadsheet.
Nutrition?
3.
3. Can you all see the spreadsheet or?
Yes.
Okay. Mental health?
3.
Exercise?
5.
5. Oh. Okay. And rest and recovery?
5.
5. Yay. Perfect. Tony,
Yes.
hydration.
So for me, hydration is a 3. Had a bad week. Yeah, for sure.
Uh-oh. I remember those were 5s for a long time.
Where I know it.
Nutrition?
Nutrition is a 4.
4. Mental health?
3.
3. Exercise?
Exercise is 5. Even with a
And-
busted elbow. Unbelievable.
Oh, I heard you got that elbow. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I got a stem cell treatment on my elbow. Sorry, guys, there's a
Okay.
truck passing by back here. Now it's gone. Okay. Yeah, so I got stem cell treatment on my elbow. I had a long time injury and got it injected with some stem cells, which is kind of interesting. So if it works the way it's supposed to, I should have an elbow that's as good as new in about 4 weeks. But in the meantime, it's slowed down my upper body stuff, but I've been going at it hard on everything else.
Of course. I think he was told he couldn't work out for 2 weeks. Ask him if he stopped working out.
It was more of a suggestion.
All right, rest and recovery.
Rest and recovery, 3.
All right. Alicia, hydration.
4?
4. Are you asking me or are you?
No, yeah, it's like a 4. It's a 4.
Nutrition,
3,
mental health.
3,
Exercise,
4,
4, and rest and recovery,
4.
4. Okay. Dana, hydration. Did we lose Dana? Oh no.
Oh, there we are. Hello. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, hydration, what's your score?
4.
4. What about nutrition?
4.5.
Mental health,
4.
4. Exercise,
5.
and rest and recovery.
4.
Oh, look at those numbers.
In the meantime.
All right, Elijah.
Please go ahead and in the chat. Remember I asked you to.
I think I'm 4s all the way across.
4s all the way across? Okay,
So
all right, I think so. Monica,
Hydration is 4.
nutrition,
3.5.
mental health,
4.
exercise,
4.
and rest and recovery.
3.5.
Awesome. And let's see, I don't have Lindsay on here. Oh, Sarah's back. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, sorry I missed you guys the last week. Yeah, technical difficulties. I've upgraded my Zoom. But
Perfect. Oh, yeah, good. It was that, right?
yeah, it was that. You're
Perfect.
right.
I'm glad that helped. Okay. Day 30, Sarah, where's your hydration at?
Yeah, it's at a 3, dropped
Okay.
a little.
3, nutrition,
4,
mental health,
4,
and exercise,
4.
and rest and recovery.
I think it'd be about a 5. That's just allowing yourself time to rest.
Yeah,
When you're-
rest, stretch, any you time.
Yep.
Anything that you feel is
That,
okay.
That'd be 5.
Awesome. All right, let's see. I'm going to stop sharing this part. Okay, good job, guys. I like these numbers. I don't have any 2s, very, very few 3s, going on to 3.5 to 4s. Okay, I dig it. All right, guys, so what we looked at last week for your challenges, how you're gonna make small changes. We had some cleaning up the patios. How did that go, Gary? Is that patio clean?
It is. It's rearranged. It's better.
Yay!
It's better.
Okay, so it's done. That means that you did it. Awesome. Mobility rolling out. Chester, how did that go?
I was consistent. I did it every day since. Actually doubled the time, so I spent 10 minutes. Rolling
Okay,
out.
I love that. Perfect. Stretching for Jansen, who's not here, but I have actually seen her do it. Incorporate walks and stretch for Alicia. Have you been walking, girl?
I did 2 walks and I did stretch for the most part after workouts, except for today. So
Perfect. Perfect. Elijah, walking and stretching was also one for you. How did that go?
the walking is going well. I'm doing like 2 walks a day.
Good.
Stretching,
Not so much. Okay. Okay. All right. And Monica, stretching and walking the dog. How does that go?
Good. I've been taking, for the most part, all the stretch classes and been going for at least 2 to 3 walks a week during the
Okay.
week.
Doable, right? Something that you guys can maintain. So Sarah, to catch you up on that, I mean, you can look at the spreadsheet and kind of go back and see what the challenges were. But again, remember, very small, something that's sustainable and achievable. Don't, think about, oh, I'm going to go walk a 3K or no, just
Yeah,
think small.
probably just rolling out and walking for me.
Perfect. There we
Yeah.
go. So
I did that.
Perfect. Okay. And then for your challenge 3, this is just very quick. Think it's more about a thought of writing one word or thinking of one word to define how you feel after you work out, right? Besides the feeling of I'm dying, because that's immediately what we feel after we work out normally, right? But the feeling overall, like let's say most of you guys are used to having a routine. So some of you will work out very early in the morning. Some of you guys will work out after work. You all have a different routine. But how does it make you feel? Let's think of a day in general. Let's not even think about immediately after you work out, but let's think about a day when you work out and then a day where you don't work out, okay? And I want you guys to think of a word of that's going to define or describe how that makes you feel. The day that you work out, how do you feel? The day that you don't work out, how do you feel? Okay. I have here happy and acceptance, right? Happy, okay, and then a sense of accomplishment or guilty and lazy. Okay, I think we can all kind of share a little bit on those words for sure. Sometimes you don't work out and you're okay with it. You're like, okay, it's not, nothing's wrong. I just didn't work out. But maybe once you get to the 2 to 3 to 4 days of not working out, it doesn't feel okay anymore. You can start going into that feeling of, oh shit, I feel like crap now, right? I'm feeling a little guilty. And then you guys start having the thoughts of, I'm going to, of working out. This is a big thing. I think if you guys read my last newsletter that I sent you, or my last email, is I begged you guys that when things get hard and you guys start missing workouts, to stop or to not get this thought in your head of working out to punish yourself for what you ate, okay? Don't get into a habit of punishing yourself through exercise, because it's gonna take the fun out of your exercise. You're gonna start looking at exercise as a task. You're gonna start looking at exercise as a means of punishment. And your happiness, we talked about the previous week about how exercise and how the gym is your happy place, how it's a place where you just go to give yourself some you time. This approach is going to take that away from you right away. And it's going to be the fastest way for you to be unmotivated. And the next thing you know, a month, 2 months go by and you have not gone to the gym or gotten a workout in. So that was a reflection I sent you guys for on that last email. And now going into writing one word of how you feel before or after you work out, or a day that you do or you don't work out. And I wanted to ask you guys that because we wanted to dwell a little more into the reality and perspective talk, just sort of in a different approach. So we're gonna use this call for more of a reflection sort of meeting, all of us together. We're just going to get really thoughtful. So another thing we talked about last class was how much we know about each other, right? Like as people, not just as, oh yeah, that's Alicia and she comes to either the 9:30 or the noon class, right? But who is Alicia? Like, what do we know about her besides just the times that she comes in? Or Tony, who's an 8:30 staple, right? Or Chester, who we know comes to work out 3 to 5 times a day. And, you know, just the basics. Just kidding. See, everybody says it's 5. All right, so what do we know about each other? Last week, I also talked a bit more about myself and I shared some stuff with you. This week, I want you guys to do that for me. I want to know about you. So we're going to take a little bit of time talking about that. And I'm going to start an icebreaker, sort of a, topic. And you don't have to share anything that you're not comfortable with, okay? Let me tell you guys that. You guys share with us what you feel comfortable sharing. But I want you guys to think of one bad thing or one negative thing or one thing that maybe didn't make you so happy since quarantine started. It can be personal. It can be nothing too personal, whatever you want. I shared with you last week, my relationship ended. Okay, so that was one hard thing that happened to me at the very beginning of the quarantine, right? And I want you guys to just think of whatever that is. Again, it is your choice to share. We all got one? If you got one, raise your finger. Oh, you guys were thinking. All right, I got Alicia. Alicia, would you be okay with sharing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been unemployed since this all started because of
Right.
quarantine, stay at home, and production is, yeah.
Yeah.
So my
absolutely.
concern is when will production pick up again?
Yeah.
So until then, I'm unemployed.
And you don't have any answers, right? You're kind of
Yeah,
just in the
no.
air.
So that's what's kind of like, yeah, affecting me.
There. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Alicia. Anybody else? No more fingers. Monica, go for it, girl.
So for me, it's been like I've been going to sleep a lot later, which is really bad for my health. And it's because like I don't know if it's like nervous or whatever. And I think I've been on the on my tablets and trying to like stay busy because like there's not really a lot of things to do, but then there's a whole bunch of things to do. And so like it just kind of has got me off track because like I go to bed later and then I end up waking up later and then so it just threw my schedule completely
And
off
how
track.
was this different before quarantine? Did you have a routine?
No, so I was working on that. So I had really worked on getting to bed a lot earlier and I was like getting on track.
Yeah.
But then this kind of like, oh, quarantine. So it kind of went out the window.
Right. You're like, oh, why?
Right.
Get it. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Monica. Anyone else? Dana.
Actually, I'm missing taking walks at work. I'm fortunate enough to work at the Huntington Library. So yeah, just, during some off time getting, walking around and just, seeing the sights. But the funny part about that is I wasn't taking a lot of walks the last couple of months. And so I think for me, it's more like, I'm missing the thought of doing that. And it's something I want to incorporate back into my daily when I do go back to work. So, so it's kind of like I really wasn't doing it before. And now I'm like, man, I really wasn't taking advantage of that.
Exactly.
And so I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Like, what am I going to do different when I go back?
See, you're taking this conversation exactly where we're going next. But I'm gonna ask you, Dana. Thank you. Anyone else? Tony.
I was pointing to Gary. Well, he's on my right, but okay.
Who were you pointing to?
Gary's on my right. So.
Oh, Gary.
You're actually below me to my left.
You were pointing to Elijah on my screen.
I for myself a really social guy. So one thing that's been really tough is the lack of social interaction, right? So a lot of these Zooms are great, but you're missing the whites of people's eyes and just touching folks, right? So that's been tough.
Absolutely, the physical, absolutely.
Exactly right.
Thank you, Tony. Anyone else? All right, Gary.
Hey, so it's the same thing. I miss I miss my students. I see them and I teach theater and we're not doing theater and we're not doing theater this summer and we're not doing theater this fall. So it's kind of like, I don't know when there will not be going back to normal. I mean, that's just it. Like the fall is going to be online.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at 2021 till I see my students, in real time again. That's really hard. Colleagues, I'm not as sad about some of my colleagues, but the students, I miss the students. So.
Yeah, same, Gary, same. I'm just kidding. And you also, do you have any answers in regards to that at all? Or is it also just we'll see how it works out?
No, I mean, the answers are we're all virtual till the end of the year. So maybe with a few on-campus meetings in November. So I have to figure out how to teach all my classes for the fall online, and then have to figure out how to do production online, and it's just a whole different thing. So
of course, it's a 180. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah. I'm really missing. I used to have this like daily coffee shop routine where I go down and they know my order and they know my name and everything. So I missed that, that social aspect, but also lifting heavy. I don't have a lot of equipment here and the CrossFit gyms are great for that. I really miss just like stacking on the weight and like deadlifts and stuff like that. And of course the fitness community. So
I think we can all relate to that one harshly. Anyone else? No, Okay, awesome. So thank you guys for sharing that. And Dana made a sweet point on how he's reflecting on something that he could have done before, right? And now he's thinking on it. He's like, why didn't I'm going to do that now, right? So hopefully Dana will now take more strolls, and hopefully we will, because of the things that we have lost, because of the changes that we've had to adapt and adopt, we're going to have to move differently, make different decisions moving forward. So we talked about one bad thing, right? Or one negative thing. Now I want you guys to think about how that bad thing or how that bad experience affected your decision making during quarantine. Okay, so the loss, right? So Alicia, right? She's like, oh yes, girl. So how did that affect the way you slept? How did that affect the way you ate? How did that affect, you know, how much water you were drinking, whether you were exercising or not? Just think on it, okay? I'm not gonna ask you one by one, but I want you to think about how that one thing that you just shared affected everything else. And now I'm gonna leave you with that, but I also want you guys to think now of a good thing that has happened. So one good thing that you can be like, okay, this wasn't so bad, or this was pretty good. So one thing that has happened. And again, share what you feel comfortable with sharing, and we'll go from there. And I'll start just to give you guys a quick idea. But for me, it's my cats. I've always wanted to foster, and you guys already know this because you've heard it, okay? But I've never been able to foster, and this quarantine allowed me to do that. So that's my win, and it makes me happy, and it's so much work. And sometimes I question why I did it, but I don't regret it, not one bit. So that's my thing. That's what makes me happy. And yes, that's my thing. What's your thing? Who wants to go first? I'm excited for these. All right, Tony, go for it.
Okay. But one thing that's kind of cool is when you were talking about your cats, I was looking at the screen, looking at everyone's faces, and without exception, everybody had a big old smile. So it makes everybody happy too, I think.
Cats.
Yeah,
Cats make people happy.
Yeah, for me, there's no question. I think even the quarantine, you know, I try to find the positive in what it's done, and there's no question it's brought me closer to my kids, right? Just spending a little bit more time with them, or having the ability to spend more time with them.
Yeah.
Being based, right? I mean, we all, I think, have seen the meme, right? Where the air is cleaner. The you know, we're not we're having to have dinner together. We're just kind of trying to find other ways of staying busy other than, you know, our phones or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Hobbies, finding all kind of stuff. I know for me, you know, the lack of social interaction maybe was giving me an increased level of anxiety. So workout is always a good escape for me. And actually, I think that's been a positive thing, right? For me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are some of the positive things.
Perfect. So being able to stay on your exercise and more family time, and instead of thinking of the stuff that was taken from you, like how can you use what you have and make it better? So family time is always good. It's actually very true. Sebastian is now a kitty foster kid also. So it's always good family time there. And I think that's also important because ultimately we have to work with what we have at home. And sometimes, well, Tony has, you know, his kids. Chester, you're by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's lonely. So what do you do? But anyway, I'm not putting you on the spot. Sorry, I was just making that comparison. Anybody else want to share? Alicia.
So since I'm unemployed and I was on a trip with my parents, I decided to just, when we came back, I just stayed with them.
Oh.
Because I knew I wasn't going to be working, so I wasn't exposing myself. So that's, you know, the plus, because I was like,
Exactly.
if I'm alone, I'm going to be like, not in a good place. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So you would have been by yourself.
Yeah, and I was, yeah.
So now you're with your parents.
I've been with my parents, yeah, since it all started. So.
Oh, that's great. That makes me happy that you're not by yourself. Anyone else? Elijah.
My negative was really similar to Alicia's in that with production shut down.
Right. What do you do for a living, Elijah?
I'm a cinematographer. And so I have been able to drum up a little bit of like at-home photo work, just a very very small amount. But the good thing that having all this time has allowed is that like I am able to like make a schedule and like exercise every day, and where it's like when you're working freelance, you know, it's like okay,
you're on the go.
Yeah, it's like you never know what your schedule is going to be, and so now like having a schedule, it's like I feel like I'm, you know, getting in better shape.
Right.
Like I'm doing it every day.
So for you, it was a little bit of the opposite than for some of us. So some of us had a routine and we had to just kind of scramble into whatever, you know, do freelance world pretty much.
Right.
And then for you, it was the opposite. You had to go from being all over the place to actually finding a routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I could see how that's helpful for sure. Dana, go for it.
Yeah, actually similar to Elijah. I mean, I have a day job, but then I also work freelance, and with a child that's 4, you know, going to and from school. And so, I mean, schedules are just all over the place. So I think my average at the box was like 1.5, you know, workouts per week. And so that's, it's gone from 1.5 to like 5.5, you know, during this time, which has been great. And with that also, you know, cooking 3 meals a day here at home. I've learned a lot of new recipes. And so hopefully that'll give me some, you know, a good like kind of ground to move forward with, because, you know, I didn't have a lot of time to make new things. And so I've got new pots and pans, and I think I've added like 4 or 5 dishes now to my repertoire. So I'm stoked.
Yes. Okay. And then talking on what you said previously, when things go back to quote unquote normal, you're going to miss that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you know, the time that I had to do, you know, this and that. What about family? You mentioned movie night on Fridays. Was that something you did before quarantine?
Yeah, we've done that quite a bit, but I mean, like I said, with you know, a lot of times Friday nights tend to be some times where I might have a gig or something. So, you know, it's off and on a lot of the time.
And this time it has been consistent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally. We look forward to it. We're already talking about what movie we're going to watch tonight. So.
Oh, yeah, because it's Friday night. You're right.
My daughter just heard movie night. So she's like,
Yay!
What's going on over here? All right, guys.
I love it. All right. Anyone else? I want to make sure everybody gets. Go, Chester.
I just noticed like the other day that for the first time ever since starting CrossFit, I no longer have calluses. So I miss it. So it's like it's so smooth.
Soft hands.
Like a baby. No, I'm serious. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not comfortable with that.
I want to feel it.
Huh?
Put your hand to the screen.
Oh, mine's boring.
I want to start lifting heavy again soon, but yeah.
We'll get there. I love that. I love that, Chester. All right, Gary, go for it.
I got 3 things actually. I love not having a commute. I love not having an 2-hour commute each day.
Yes.
And oddly, even though I miss my students, my teaching actually was better this semester, because after 25 years of teaching, I had to reinvent everything I was doing. So I had to solve problems, which my brain likes solving problems. So that was it. The other thing is our cat is fairly sick. So she has to take a lot of medicine right now. She's doing great. Actually, she's doing really well right now. But if we had both been working, I don't know how that would have worked. There's just, because my husband travels all the time. So it's like, there would have been no way that I could have kept the regular medicine that she has to get. So that was a really good thing. So
that is a really good thing. Oh, yes. I like how you had 3. I like how you had a list. You were like, boom, boom, boom. And let me tell you this, that commute is for real, because that applies to all of us. We all know we do not miss this LA traffic. No. All right. Well, awesome. So we talked about a good thing. We talked about not so good thing, right? Pertaining to our now, to what we are dealing with right at the moment, and how that has affected us, our decision making, and how these good things, it makes us feel good. I almost forgot about the bad things we talked about 5 minutes ago, right? So talking about the good stuff is always helpful. Now I'm going to take you back in time. Okay. So just in the same way that we talked about a good thing and a bad thing, I want you to go back to when you were a kid. Okay. Whatever phase of your childhood, it can be when you were in kindergarten, in 3rd grade, 4th grade, maybe in middle school, whatever. I want you guys to go back and I want you to think of a bad thing or a not so good thing that happened or that you experienced or that whatever you lived through, and how it made you feel at that moment. And I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to give you some silent time only because I know you have to go back. So I'm going to let you guys do that for a couple minutes. Just think on it. Go back to whatever time in your childhood that something not so good happened or that you experienced, or maybe you did something not so good. And think about how it made you feel at that moment. You guys like. And you can even talk about what it taught you. And as usual, I'll start with mine so you guys get an idea. I'll try to be as quick as possible. So as you guys are thinking, I'll share mine. I actually shared this with someone not too long ago, but I was in 5th grade and there was a book fair. And I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, there was book fairs and they were so lit because they had like, they would set up in the library and they would set up pencils and erasers and really cute stuff that you could like buy, and it was the best. My mama never gave me $1, I'll tell you guys that. So we always went as a classroom and you were able to see and kind of just, you know, fantasy shop. There was the other kids that were balling and they had like $5, $10 and they could buy whatever they wanted, right? I was not one of those kids. So I always enjoyed going to see. Long story short, in 5th grade, I had about 5 friends, right? And in the same class, we went and we had to take our backpacks because we had to go to lunch after or whatever. We had to leave our backpacks on the entrance. We went through the little library setting for a book fair, and then they took us back to the class. And 5 minutes later, the hall monitors come and they ask us to open up our bags because they had seen some suspicious behavior. And we're like, okay, we open up our backpacks and guess who had book fair stuff in their backpack? This girl did. There was so many, there was like pencils and erasers and like all these cool, cute things. And I had no idea. I'm like, hey, I opened up my bag. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Turns out my friends had put stuff, 2 of them, we knew exactly who they were. 2 of them had put stuff in the other 3 of us backpacks and stole it, right? But they didn't put it in their own backpacks, they put it in ours. So we were all in shock. We're like, what happened? I went home, my God bless her soul. She was so upset and I was begging for my life saying, Mom, I swear I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And I didn't do it. And she was so upset with me because I wouldn't tell the truth. And she had my father never lay a hand on me. She had my father whoop me that day. She said, if you don't do it, you can already hear she's Mexican. Okay. You gotta, if the Mexican lady says it, you just gotta do it. So I got the biggest whooping of my life from my father. And about 5 to 10 minutes after, because he sent me to my room, I came out to the bathroom and I saw my father crying on the desk. Like he was crying his eyes out. So that day I got a whooping for something I didn't do. And I saw my father cry, which was a huge thing for me. And that's where I'm going to leave you. And then we're going to go back to the next question. Who wants to go next? Who else got a whooping? They'll never forget. It doesn't have to be that deep, guys. It can be something very surfacey, okay? You don't have to go back into your childhood traumas or anything like I did. No, nothing? You guys had wonderful lives? I'm jealous. You guys never did anything you weren't supposed to do? Gary, yes, my man, and Dana. Love it. All right, Gary.
I think that's a different question, doing things I wasn't supposed to do, but okay. I just remember this always comes back to me. In high school, my parents had gotten divorced, and we had no extra money for things.
Yeah.
And the school choir was taking every year they took a trip to Mexico, or they went to Belgium, or they went somewhere. And I could never go. I could never go. And the choir director every year would bring me into his office and say, "We really need you to go. We really need you to do this." He never offered to pay for it, but he always wanted me to go. And and after the first year, I stopped asking my parents because I just knew it wasn't going to happen. So I just always felt like I was missing out somewhere after that. So
yeah, I like how you included how it made you feel. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Anyone else? Dana, go for it.
So there's another part of this that's kind of funny. I was born in Eagle Rock, so I'm one of the few that's actually born and raised in Eagle Rock. But anyway, so that we're the I think it's the not the the CVS. It used to be not a Rite Aid, but I forget what the name of it was, but one of the old school. Yeah, Save-On, there you go. There's a Save-On back in the day.
Save-On, yeah.
And I lived right up the street from Save-On, and my mom and I went to go get some stuff at Save-On, and I think in the checkout line I grabbed like some candy, or something, some little thing, and I just put it in my pocket, you know what I mean? And it was the first time I'd ever done that. I'd never ever done it before in my life, and I don't know why. I've always been someone that I can't lie, you know what I mean? So actually, I think I felt so guilty that I showed my mom, and she actually made me go back to Save-On and go pay for it,
Yeah.
And so that taught me a good lesson. But yeah.
How did it make you feel in the moment? Besides, you said you were guilty and you felt.
Oh, I felt guilty the second like we left left Save-On, and I couldn't I had to say something because I just felt so guilty. But I mean, that's so that always stuck with me, and I don't think I ever sold anything like that ever again. So
I love it. I love it because I know I've stolen things when I was a kid for sure. I only regretted a few. Anyone else? That's it. All right, Monica. Go for it, Monica.
So as a kid, my mom used to make me eat spinach so that I would be strong. And so we used to go to the market, and she used to have her cart, and we used to live upstairs. And I was hell bent on helping her pull the cart up, because I had eaten spinach and I was strong as Popeye. And my dad's like, "No, you go close the door." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to go help you with the cart." And so my dad was so upset that I wouldn't listen to him. So I went and I closed the door, but I slammed the door because I was so upset. And so he's like, he whooped my ass because I didn't listen. But I was like, "No, I should have been helping my mom because I ate spinach today." So I got a whooping too.
That's them. Oh, and how did that make you feel?
I was upset because I was right about that I needed to help her to be because I was wrong. So
yeah. You had a mission and you weren't able to do it. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Tony.
Put me on there, sure. And you know what? I'm embarrassed to even ask this because I stepped away for a quick call while you were bringing up this topic. But I think what I'm sensing is maybe doing stuff we weren't supposed to.
So any childhood memory or, that you have that of an experience that wasn't too good, maybe you did something, maybe someone did something to you, maybe it was just a whole experience.
I've got a good one. I mean, at first I thought it was doing stuff we weren't supposed to. And it's kind of looking at a baseball stadium with all these little heads. Those are all the things I did I wasn't supposed to. I'm trying to pick one out. I was a bad kid, but for those of you who don't know, I have 5 brothers, 2 sisters. With me, we're 8 kids. So I grew up in a really big family. We grew up a very poor family. So, my dad was the only one that worked, and he worked at a warehouse and, doing loading. And so my parents, needless to say, couldn't afford much of anything. And with that many mouths to feed, it was always limited resources. my parents managed to put us all through private school, Catholic school, because I grew up in South Central LA, which was not a pleasant place. In any event, grades were essential. And I have, all of my siblings at some point in their academic career were either valedictorian or salutatorian, without exception, except one guy. This guy right here is, I was a donkey in a sense. I mean, it's not good to call myself a donkey, but I grew up certainly feeling less than everyone else, particularly because they all had stellar grades, wicked smart. They all got free rides to the best high schools and, best universities. I, for one, had to start working when I was 13 years old because my high school would have been manual arts. And I don't know if any of you don't know manual arts, but back in the 90s, it was not a place I'd want to go to. So I had to start working when I was 13 years old just to pay my own high school because I didn't get a scholarship. And that made me feel a little less than everyone else. But yeah, I've outgrown that. And now I don't feel less. I'm bigger than all my siblings. So that's good. It's fine.
He's bigger by like 3 feet.
Right.
All right. So anyone else? I want to make sure everybody gets a shot at it. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing. So now that we've gone back in time and thought about one good thing, one bad thing, right? So I wanted to do this because talking again on the topic of perspective and reality. So what our reality is right now, that feels fresh. It's very fresh because we're living through it now, the good and the bad, and we're basing all of our decisions. If you really think about it, we base most of our decisions on the negative things, on the stuff that affects us negatively. It's so much easier for nutrition, for exercise, for everything that makes us and makes us happy to go downhill because we base our decisions on how we feel at the moment, on the perspective of things. The reality is that we're not focusing on the good things. Like on Dana saying, I should have been taking more walks. Well, thing is, Dana, you can take walks now. Go take walks. Thinking on the reality for Alicia, who had a trip planned, and she was like, well, I don't have a trip, but I still have the time to spend with my parents. And that's valuable time, because if she was working, she wouldn't have the ability to spend that time with her parents. Gary, listen, I'm gonna just take that cat story, but that's a good one, okay? Because thing is, if you weren't home, like you just said, you wouldn't be able to take care of your kitty cat. Okay, Elijah, you're having a shot to feel routine. You're having a shot to feel what it's like to have a set schedule and enjoy that. And you're probably getting more you time than you have ever before. And I could keep going for all of you, right? But I think the big picture here is that when we focus on our reality, when we focus on the good things happen. And it sounds cheesy, and I'm sure you've read it on some quote or whatever, but it's real. So being aware of how your negative experiences have such a more an easier and more powerful bearing over how you make decisions in your everyday life. Try to switch that in here. Be cognizant of how we allow that to happen. Taking you guys back to your childhood, right? And asking, what's that one bad thing that you went through? And how did that make you feel at that moment? Looking back at it, most of you guys told me your stories with smiles on your face, because you don't see them the same way you saw them when they were happening. And that's because you're seeing them with different eyes. And it's probably and most likely because they taught you a lesson. They taught you something. Dana is probably never going to pick up a piece of candy without paying for it again. And who knows, maybe he'll have to live with it when he goes to CVS with his daughter and she grabs a candy, and then he realizes in the car halfway home that she grabbed something, and he's gonna be like, oh, here we go. Things like that. Like, really think about how all of these experiences that we lived in the past, at the moment, they made us feel a certain way. Me getting my ass whooped and seeing my father cry was a hell of an experience, only because I felt like I experienced injustice. And I felt like my father experienced injustice by my mother, and it was just so much, right? But now I look back at it, and I see as an adult, I see so much of a bigger picture and so many bigger things were learned, right? I, for once, learned how to pick my friends better. Okay, that's probably the biggest lesson I got from there. So it was just a very quick exercise in learning each other a little more and also giving you guys a different perspective on what Paul and I had presented you guys about reality and perspective overall. This is a really good way, I thought, for you guys to see it, to think on the difference of good and bad, of negative and positive experiences and how we allow them to affect us. Think about the good experience that you had as a child. We didn't talk about a good experience as a child. I'm gonna let you guys simmer on that one and think about it. And we'll open up our next meeting on Friday with that thought, a good childhood experience. I want you guys, I'm gonna give you a whole week to think about it. So it better be good. And everybody's gonna have to share. So I'll give you guys enough time for that, okay? And we'll open up next week with that opening of our good childhood experience or something that made you happy. I wanted you guys, to inform you that we're also going to have a breathing class, okay? So I will have Manny Hernandez. He's one of long time ago fellow coach. I was able to get in touch with him and talk with him about our wellness challenge. And he was more than thrilled to do a breathing class for us. I'm hoping to do a quick meeting with him sometime this week, and I'll share it with you guys so that he can explain a little more on what his approach is with this breathing class. It's a breath workshop. So he does a lot of work with mouth breathing. There's different techniques for breathing. He does a lot of mouth breathing. And we did it not too long, I believe it was in October. We were having the open, I believe. And he came in and did it at the gym. And I would think we had about 6 or 8 people. So I'm hoping that all of you guys will take advantage of the class. He will lead it entirely. He's gonna explain to you what you have to do. You won't need anything other than hopefully just an empty room and a space for you guys to be in. So that's something that's coming up next Friday at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so that's gonna be Friday, 2:30 p.m. We're gonna record it. We're gonna have that ready for you guys in case you miss it, but we would very much love for you guys to be there for it because the experience is definitely different. That being said, please join our YouTube channel. That's where we upload all of our YouTube, or all of our Zoom and some of our Facebook and Instagram stuff. It's on there. We have all of our workouts on there for those of you that miss a workout and you guys want to go back and see the coaches give you the lead on the movements. You guys can find it there. All of our challenge meetings are also there. I believe the only one we don't have is the first one because we didn't tape it, but everything else is there. So closing up very quickly on the reminder for you on the awareness of how your good and bad experiences affect you and which you are choosing to allow to take reign of your day. Wake up, avoid going on social media early in the morning. That's my advice to you. Avoid it, avoid it, avoid it. Not early in the morning. Don't get up and look at your phone, sit on the toilet and no, put it away. Look at, make time like maybe at noon or 3 p.m. Just if you can, just get off of it. But let's go back to Paul. Is there anything that you'd like to add? I know you jumped on here and I didn't even say hi to you. Hi, Paul.
Good morning, everybody. I think it was good just to hear everybody talk about their stories and what reality is versus perspective and being active. I think breathing is a big thing that we can all add in with what man is going to bring in. Like, I think there's a huge aspect to that. And it's an awesome place to go reset. And it's exercise. It is a secret to success on competition. It's a secret to success on standing in front of a large crowd. It's just one of those that you can do it and you just have to work at it. And finding those breathing exercises can give you a self-power to overcome when you do make a mistake and stand up for it.
I believe, Tony, you took the last class. You were there.
He just muted himself.
Oh.
How cool he is.
There it is. Sorry. I thought it muted, I clicked it. I did take the last class, and it was guys, it was excellent. It was really, really good. It wasn't quite what I expected, in the sense that I think I came into it expecting that it would be sort of a way to figure out how to breathe during exercise or something like that. So I came with my workout gear ready to go, and it was not that. It was more breathing and meditation and release, which was it was quite the experience. So I will definitely be there for this next one, and I'd suggest you guys do too.
Thank you, Tony. See, he explained it way better than I did. I've done a exercise and breathing class way back in the day. I did one of those, but the ones that Manny runs is definitely just come with an open mind, come ready to just, you know, breathe and let a lot of stuff out. And yeah, it's a little different, but it's a very, very enjoyable experience. All right, so let's go back to this really quick. We're almost on the dot at noon. So I want to make sure that I don't take more of your time. That's not the screen I wanted to share. Let's go back. All right, let's see. What is it doing this?
3, 2, 1, go, guys, go.
I know. I can't share it.
While you're working down the hall, when I didn't see you here on the screen, I was creating a story in my head and thinking there was a baby Ostad being delivered right now. I thought, yes, but then you showed up. Damn it, dream killer.
Much work today. We're trying to get everything prepared so I can go and run away for a little bit, but
oh my God.
She's still good. Hoping this weekend, we'll see. She's ready.
Good.
I was trying to do the small change on the chart, guys, and it's not letting me open it. It's only letting me share my clock, which is weird. You know how we normally go in and put in or change or small change. That's going to be your homework, I suppose, because I cannot open it. But think of a small change, okay? Anything related to your rest and recovery. That's our pillar for today. But I think a lot of our rest and a lot of our recovery has to do with your mental health, with you guys being able to, Monica, I'm gonna use this as an example, staying up really late, right? And you're like, I want to sleep. I should be sleeping, but you're not going to bed. So what can you do to fix that? What can you guys do to make a small change for, you know, an overall benefit of your rest, of your recovery? It can be maybe an Epsom salt bath, it can be rolling out, having a lacrosse ball, getting a band and stretching, taking a class, okay? Take a class with Jahi if you want a little more exercise. There's Jahi, there's Wes with endurance, there's Jordan, Monica, and Alicia. I know you guys took the class. Try to make it maybe a habit to take it once a week, or, you know, put it in your calendar once a month for now. But that's going to be my homework to you guys, to think of a childhood experience that you think of and it makes you very happy, because that's how we're going to start up next week. And go ahead and add your small change on your chart for rest and recovery, okay? And you guys will be receiving my email on Monday, and we'll be in touch during the week. And we will see you guys again at 11 a.m. on Friday, next Friday. And hopefully you guys will block out a time at 2:30 p.m. for the breathing class. You guys have any questions? We're good. Thank you guys for sharing today. I really had fun hearing your stories. Can't wait for next week to hear your happy childhood story. I'm excited.
This was great. Thanks, Dee.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Bye. How's Maritza? Oh, I can't hear you.
Ready to have a baby.
Yeah.
Shoot, we're on YouTube. You want to cancel that?
Oh, yeah, it's on Jahi's, I think.
Jahi ran away. Let me see. Jahi, can you log in and cancel the YouTube live, please? Thank you. She went to the doctor yesterday and things are good. Everything looks good. The baby looks big. And we'll wait and see. Doc thinks that this weekend it could happen. So
oh my goodness.
Doctor yesterday and things are good. Everything looks good.